How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to On the Ball. Welcome back to another transfer update. A lot of big names to talk about today. We did bring you the news that PSG might be willing to meet Barcelona's release clause for Ousmane Dembele, and it looks like that has been done, as Romano says that Barcelona winger Ousmane Dembele has accepted PSG's offer and will sign a 5-year contract after they activated the €50 million release clause. PSG have sent a formal letter to inform Barcelona, now trying the best way to close the deal depending on timing. And this is Mundo Deportivo saying that Barcelona intend to go to war with PSG if Ousmane Dembele's release clause is activated. The Spanish club will ask UEFA to investigate whether or not PSG respects FFP and where the French club derives in all its economic resources.
Well, and according to L'Equipe as well, which is definitely a big element to the story of truth, says Ousmane Dembele will receive 50% of his cut price PSG transfer fee, with Barcelona set to lose over 100 million on a player they signed for 135 million euros. So, I mean, that's the big incentive, I guess, for him to make this move. And from PSG's point of view, what a brilliant deal. They only have to pay 50 million. Barcelona only set to receive 25 million euros, which is absolutely nothing for a player of Ousmane Dembele's quality. How they've let that happen, I wonder if that was a clause in the contract that he signed not so long ago after his contract was set to run out, because I think he actually let his contract run out, didn't it? And then he signed after it expired. So maybe in a moment of desperation, Barcelona offered him this kind of deal where he can get up to 50% of his transfer. Now it's led to this situation where they're losing probably their best winger for such a low fee, and it's absolute disaster for them.
It is a disaster, but I guess they have only got themselves to blame for allowing that kind of clause to go into the contract. But having said that, they might have lost him for free the previous years. So it's a hard one, but I mean, Barcelona, they're making all these crazy decisions because of the financial situation they found themselves in, and they keep digging themselves a hole, more bigger holes and bigger holes. It's sad to see with a club like Barcelona, to be honest. Yeah,
it's true, but on the other hand, they maybe have to rely on Ansu Fati to return to form, who hasn't really done fantastic for the last year or so, but he's a player I really believe in. They still got Rafinha, they still got Ferran Torres, still got Lewandowski. So look, there is some talent there, so it's not all is lost, but this has to be a massive blow for them to lose him for such a small amount of money.
Yeah, but when you're looking at the outlook and the way the land lies in Spain now, you look at the direction that Real Madrid are going in, potentially getting Mbappe through the door as well. Bellingham's come through the door. The amount of money being spent over at Real Madrid, and Barcelona, on the other hand, just don't seem to be able to keep up, to be honest.
Well, they won the La Liga last season.
I know that. But
so, and they got Gavi and they got Pedri coming through. They still got some good midfield options. Frankie de Jong's still there for now. So, look, Madrid are definitely investing impressively, but you got to remember there was quite a big difference in the end, wasn't there, in the points difference? So Madrid have to catch that up. Barcelona will back themselves to be able to keep that distance, but for sure, Madrid looking a lot stronger right now in the deals they're doing. I'm much liking the look of their squad. They still got to sign a striker.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks as though I think Mbappe will end up there at some point, whether it be this season or next season. But in terms of the players that Barcelona might be bringing in, the next name on the list is João Cancelo. Romano says that in case of Ousmane Dembele leaves Barca and accepts the PSG move, part of the budget could be used for the new right back, with João Cancelo as a top priority. Cancelo has always been and remains the top priority for Barcelona, and this guy's of a supreme talent, and I think the Spanish league will really fit him, and I think he'll be an absolute star there. And it's just in case if they can afford him or not at the end of the day.
Yeah, and well, I guess the money from Ousmane Dembele won't cover Cancelo. That's the thing. It's only going to cover a portion of that, because you're thinking Cancelo is going to be at least 50 million on that kind of side. Although not many people are interested, so maybe that's going to drive the price down. I think it would fit Barcelona like a glove. It might allow as well, if Koundé is playing a lot of the time at right back now, maybe they can move Koundé inside and play Cancelo on the right, so it opens up different avenues as well. Or Cancelo can take over from Jordi Alba on the left-hand side. They've still got players like Marcos Alonso there, but obviously Cancelo is a different level to him. I think he would be a very, very good signing, and it would be a step in the right direction to kind of plug in that creativity gap that Dembele might be leaving.
Yeah, that's how I see it more, to be honest. Him filling in left, being that long-term replacement for Jordi Alba, who's been such a good servant for them. And look, their defence is okay. At the back, they've got, who have they got? They've got Christensen, Arujo. They've got the guy from who's it? Man City, Eric Garcia as well. I mean, they've got all right talent at the back. It's just that, can they keep up with Real Madrid? I'm just not so sure in the long term anyway. But João Cancelo will definitely be a great addition, that's for sure. In terms of movement in the Premier League, we've got a new addition in the Premier League, which is AXEL DISASI. Romano has reported that Chelsea have sealed the deal with AXEL DISASI. Documents and paperwork set to be exchanged between the clubs. A 5-year deal with an option of a 1-year extension. Chelsea will pay 45 million euros to Monaco. Medical has been booked. There was interest from Manchester United and Newcastle, but no bid. So he has gone to Chelsea, and that is the here we go confirmed from Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah, and a good signing for Chelsea, who obviously were looking for reinforcements after the Fofana injury really hit them like a ton of bricks last week with another ACL. And it's also got to the stage where last season he suffered quite a bit from injury. He actually got injured quite early on, didn't he, Fofana, at Chelsea after a big move.
ACL.
It's a big injury. And then when he did play last season, he wasn't great, but obviously he's still coming back from that injury. Now he's got another big injury. So I think Chelsea have to take the view that they can't rely on him right now, as long as he's got these problems. And it's harsh to say, but they've got to start looking beyond him, even though they just signed him last season for 80 million. It's a bit crazy. So I think DISASI makes sense. Statistically, he looks like an absolute world beater. He's 24 years of age. He's been brilliant for Monaco last season. He's one that a lot of clubs have looked at. I think on the ball wise, he's definitely going to bring another element to Chelsea. And also, it's another signing where they can start to look beyond Thiago Silva as well, because they've got Thiago Silva there, but he's now not getting any younger. He's 13, I think, coming on 39 soon. So they've got DISASI, they've got Colwell, they've got Badchile. They're really looking solid at that centre-back position. And I think if Fofana was there, they wouldn't obviously need this signing, but because of his injury, you could say they've got enough cover at centre-back. But with Colwell and Badchile being very predominantly on the left, I think they needed another one who's going to cover for Thiago Silva and even overtake him. So I think it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely makes sense, to be honest. And when you're looking at the way Pochettino likes to play with his high-pressing centre-backs, you need really good players in that position, and that's what they've got. They've got two quality options on the right and on the left now. With Fofana, who knows when he's going to come back.
And when he does come back, he can take over from Thiago Silva.
Yeah, who's 39 years old. So exactly. Absolutely brilliant moves from Chelsea. And another player who could potentially be going to Chelsea is Kylian Mbappe, as Record are reporting that Chelsea are attempting to negotiate a cash plus player deal to bring PSG forward Kylian Mbappe to Stamford Bridge this summer. The Daily Mirror are reporting that Liverpool are in talk to sign Kylian Mbappe on a 1-year loan deal from PSG, and Sky Caver is claiming that Kylian Mbappe is due to receive a €60 million loyalty bonus if he's still a PSG player tomorrow.
So he ain't moving before tomorrow.
That is mad. Like, oh my God, like he's going to pocket 60 million for just refusing to move.
Unbelievable. If there's any incentive to stick your feet in the ground, I think that's one. I don't see him going to Liverpool or Chelsea. I think those rumours are just that, rumours. If there's anyone actually that it does make sense for to move for a year, it would actually be Man United when you think about it. I know they've just got Højlund, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. It kind of alleviates that pressure for a year. They've got Champions League football as well that they can offer him for that year that he's going to be out the game. So if there's anyone in the Premier League I do genuinely see a loan deal going for, I think Man United would probably be the one. I don't see him leaving the Champions League for a year unless it was obviously Saudi, but he's rejected that. So it seems as though his footballing ambition means more to him than money. So if that's going to be the case, I don't see Liverpool or Chelsea happening.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, to be honest. And what a player, if Kylian Mbappe can go and lead the line for Manchester United for 1 year whilst Højlund is getting to grips with things and coming to the Premier League, and he hasn't played that much professional football at a top level. Højlund, he's had half a year really for Atalanta last season. He's played 6 games for Denmark, so it's a big ask to go ask him to lead the line for a whole season for a club like Manchester United in the Champions League. So if they can get Kylian Mbappe to help him settle for a year, and he's a great player to learn off, I think you're right. I think it probably makes most sense for him to go to Manchester United for that loan for 1 year and then make that big move to Real Madrid. Next up, let's talk about David Raya, as the Athletic are reporting that Brentford have rejected a loan move from Bayern Munich for David Raya, with Arsenal now interested in signing the goalkeeper. Arsenal are exploring the possibility of a deal to sign David Raya. The Gunners want to recruit the Brentford goalkeeper to give Ramsdale competition, as Nottingham Forest are considering a move for Arsenal goalkeeper Matt Turner. And Romano has given us an update on it today, saying, understand that Arsenal have made contact with David Raya's camp to start talks on salary, as player prefers Arsenal over Bayern as a destination. Discussions are taking place, no issues with Raya, but key point will be between the club, as Brentford always insist on the 40 million fee. And Thomas Frank has been speaking as well, and he says he's worth 40 million. He was one of the top 4 goalkeepers in the Premier League last season. What is the fair price for a player with 1 year left? Declan Rice went to Arsenal for 105 million, and Harry Kane they're talking about for about 150 million pounds. So I mean, he does have a point with David Raya, but I mean, I don't really understand this whole Arsenal talks. If they really believe in Aaron Ramsdale, why bring in David Raya, unless, you know, they don't believe in Aaron Ramsdale and they are looking to get rid of him? But I think if Raya goes into Arsenal, he becomes their number one and he'll become the best goalkeeper at the football club.
I agree with that. I think Raya is a better keeper than Ramsdale. I think Ramsdale is a bit overrated in my opinion. I think he's good for the brand of Arsenal, a young English goalkeeper who does make some spectacular saves for the camera. But I think in general over a whole season, I don't think he's as good as a lot of people say. Like I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans saying after Alisson and Edison, he's the best keeper. No way is that the case, in my opinion. I think it's possible, like, if he was outside the top 6 right now, like, people wouldn't even be talking to him. I think just because he's at Arsenal, where last season had a great season, but they didn't have to do a lot of defending, to be fair. And Ramsdale for a lot of games wasn't even that busy. I think, and look, Arsenal had a great season, but I just don't think he's that great. I think his goalkeeping, positioning wise, and his shot stopping isn't particularly impressive. I do think his distribution is decent, but I think those elements of his game, his positioning, which maybe he'll learn over time. He's still young, but right now I don't think he's as good as everyone's saying. I think Raya is probably ahead of him in those aspects, and I do think he becomes the best goalkeeper. I just think Arsenal see a goalkeeper in the Premier League of Raya's quality with 1 year left on his contract, is a keeper that they've wanted before, and I just think they're exploring the possibility. If Bayern, Tottenham and Man United have all been put off by the price, I don't see Arsenal going in and paying that price, unless there's been a significant drop off, and I don't think that's going to happen now. I think that'll happen later in the window. So I think Arsenal right now are going to be priced out of it, and I think maybe later in the window they revisit it, and if there's any kind of movement in the price for Raya. I don't think this is happening right now. I think it's just interest.
Yeah, in terms of what you're saying, comparing the goalkeepers, I believe pretty much aligned what you're saying, but I think that David Raya is better than Ramsdale in every metric, to be honest, in every facet. And what you're saying is about the Ramsdale on the ball. I think in his first year, he was a lot better on the ball than he was last season, to be honest. And he had a bit of a drop-off of how he performed on the ball this last season. And I think David Raya is better than him on the ball. And I think he's a better shot stopper. And I just think he's a better all-round goalkeeper. And I think Arsenal will probably do well, to be honest, to get a big fee in potentially for Ramsdale and get Raya over the line for 30-40 million. I think that would be good for them, but not good for the rest of the Premier League.
I think it would be good for them. I don't see them selling Ramsdale anytime soon. I don't think he's up for sale. I don't think that's why they're bringing Raya. I just think they're looking for, look, now they're in the Champions League, they're probably going to rotate the keepers a bit more. So they're looking for a good understudy who's better than Matt Turner, essentially. And I reckon they're thinking they could get a good deal for Raya, but I don't think they realise how expensive he's going to be. And once they realise how stubborn Brentford are going to be on that price, I think they turn away from him.
For argument's sake, if they do bring in David Raya this summer, and they go into next season with Ramsdale and Raya, first of all, what unbelievable goalkeeping options for your backup and your starting choice. It's unbelievable. But I do feel like when it comes, if Ramsdale's out the team quite a lot over next season and Raya does take his place, I see Ramsdale getting a bit disgruntled and probably wanting to find a move away at some point to get first team football. So I don't think it's possible to keep both of those keepers happy for the long term.
I agree with that.
Next up, let's talk about Gianluca Scamacca. Calcio Mercato claiming that Roma have agreed a deal to sign West Ham striker Scamacca on loan with a 19 million option to buy. West Ham are the only club in the Premier League who have not made a signing this summer, which is unbelievable to think about because they sold Declan Rice for 105 million. They can't seem to get a player over the line for one reason or another. Scamacca is another player going out the door, this time on loan with an option to buy. I think it's a really good signing for Roma. He showed his qualities for Sassuolo in Serie A, and that's why West Ham paid a significant fee to bring him over the line. And it just doesn't seem to be working out for him in the Premier League. Antonio did make those comments about him in the back end of the season, him not being a fighter, what have you, and maybe those are the reasons why they're looking to get rid of him.
Well, it's interesting he says that because, at Roma, you know how much of a fighter you need to be up front to play for them. So you would think that if he's not suited to that in for West Ham, then it's still going to be difficult for him at Roma as well. But Mourinho, he has a good record with strikers, so I'm sure he'll get Scamacca playing. If I was West Ham, I'd keep him, to be honest. I'd give him, I'd let him take over from Antonio and just give him that game time and allow him. And if they're going to try and switch up adjust their style of play, they're going to need more players like Scamacca who are very good technically, really good finishers. And as you said, they haven't signed anyone, so that all of a sudden they sell Scamacca, leaves them with just Ings. I think Antonio's there for now. He might be going, I'm not sure, he's still there, I guess. So I guess Antonio still counts as a striker, but I think they've got to start looking on upgrading someone like Antonio. And I, for one, think Scamacca is an upgrade on Antonio. He's there, ready and waiting. They just got to find a better way to use him. And at the moment, they'll rather sell him than try and figure that out. And I think that's a bad move for David Moyes. And I think it's just going to lead to West Ham stagnating even more. And it probably is going to lead to I'm not saying this sale is going to lead to a sacking, but I think that kind of direction is going to lead to the West Ham fans getting frustrated again like they did last season.
Yeah, and if you're a West Ham fan, you've got to be worried about how the land lies for this season, to be honest, because they're in a relegation battle for the most part of last season with Declan Rice. Scamacca didn't perform for the whole season. You're taking him out of the equation. You're taking Declan Rice out of the equation completely without any new blood coming in. I mean, are they in for another relegation battle this season?
If they don't sign anyone, and especially with how they're replacing Rice with just internal options, I mean, you got to be worried. And you got Europa League football as well next season, so you're going to need an even bigger squad than last season with more quality if you're going to keep up. So I would be worried right now. Look, transfer window's not over, but it's definitely worrying times. Yeah,
it looks like that. Well, for all accounts, they will start the season without these options. And Declan Rice was such a pivotal player for them over the past however many years it's been. I mean, I don't know. I think West Ham fans should be really worried about the start of the season anyway. And last but not least, let's talk about Sofian Amrabat. Alfredo Pagula saying Manchester United and Fiorentina are set for direct talks over the transfer of Sofian Amrabat today. And L'Equipe are saying that Saudi side Al Ahly will try and beat Man United to the signing of Sofian Amrabat. So all of a sudden, Man United looking like to have some really good options coming in. Onana's come in, Højlund's come in, Mason Mount's come in, and now potentially Sofian Amrabat as well.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see because Saudi could probably put a big fee there, and whether it depends how highly Man United rate him in terms of, because as you say, they've got options now in centre mid. They've got Bruno, they've got Casemiro, they've got Mount, they've got Eriksen, they've still got Fred and McTominay hanging around as well. Obviously, he comes in, you're thinking he's going to be ahead of them, but it's whether how much football you think he's guaranteed next season at Man United, and is the wage packet from Saudi going to be able to compensate that? I think it would be a good signing. It would give them even more options, but that Saudi wage packet is hard to turn down, and it depends how big it gets. So I wouldn't rule them out completely just yet.
I did see a report doing the rounds, I believe, where he favours a move to Manchester United a lot more than Saudi as well. So maybe he prefers to stay in Europe.
I'm sure most players would prefer to move to a big club in Europe, but when the money they're offering, it can sway you, can't it?
Yeah, it can. But we'll have to see how this one plays out. But I think a move to Manchester United, it's not like they're going to be offering him pennies and a move to play in the Champions League. So I think he will favour a move to Manchester United over Saudi. But again, we'll have to see how that one plays out. But that is your transfer news for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all of those stories, and we'll see you next time.